Who do I vote for the stream of the month? It's a person I've never watched.
Oh, and I have been playing Conan lately, so I do have some little insight on the new pet mechanics. Yeah, they added pets, so now you can go out and tame those little suckers.
Hey, how's it going, guys and gals? Welcome back for this week's episode of the Insider Gaming News Talk Show. I'm joined again this week by House Hendo and Kitty Crusader. How you guys doing?
Doing all right. Thanks for having me on again.
Oh yeah. So this week I got a little bit of stuff going on, a little bit of cool stuff, a little bit of new games releasing. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, this fall and / winter is like, I think probably one of the busiest years I've seen in the last 5 or 6 years, even almost. I want to say, because there's just like game after game after game after game, like to the point where like even the indie developers are struggling because they're trying to find a slot into all of this stuff, and it's still just like, what?
Yeah.
Do you guys
like
have phones? I know, right?
Yeah, because I've even known some individual studios that even have like a crazy number of like planned releases over the next year or two.
Yeah. Like even some of them have pushed their releases back and everything. Like there's a lot of stuff like that that's happening this year. It seems like
THQ being back makes me really excited, even though it's not really THQ.
Yeah,
but
weird THQ.
It's still basically THQ, and I'm real happy about that announcement. About like they got like 30 plus titles.
Oh yeah, like there's a bunch of games that they previewed at PAX West when I saw them there. And that they're still not talking about, really. They're just like, yeah, we're going to show this here. Don't talk about it, but this is what we're going to show you. It's something cool coming up. And there was like I can't remember. It was kind of like, it reminded me of that new Mutant game that's like a XCOM shooter. But it was like the style of characters and everything in it, but it was like an RPG element game. And that was amazing looking. That was a lot of fun to play too. And it was like super, super pre-alpha, but it looked like it was a game that had already been done for a couple years. Like it played really well.
Is that the one you were talking about last week?
No, this is another one. Yeah, this is a different one.
No, that one was XCOM style, but not graphics.
Oh, yeah, that was Element Space.
I heard some rumors. Some of those titles coming up might be more collabs with them in Games Workshop. Like, you know, how they do like Space Marine and all that.
I kind of want them to stop.
Sorry, Relic did Space Marine, my bad, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, no, THQ did Space Marine, the one Space Marine game, and co-done with Relic. But that was like, it was such a short game, and it only like it didn't even like dip its toe barely into the universe. Like it was just
it was supposed to be a trilogy. It was because Relic went under, they weren't able to continue it because they were going to have they're going to add Grey Knights in the second installment, and then they're going to have like I think there was like talk about maybe Tau or Eldar fucking around going on like the third installment.
I love seeing all the Space Marine games and like stuff like that, but dude, they seriously need to get away from like the same 5 factions. Like they need to fuck off with those. There's so many cool factions that they never touch or see or anything in games, and especially a lot of the Warhammer games, because they want to stick to orcs and chaos and stuff like that. Like while chaos is for me is my favorite, hands down my favorite like Warhammer lore faction, I still would love to see like Necrons. I'd love to see more Tyranids. I'd love to see.
The new battle fleet that's coming out next month is including Necrons and Tyranids, and they're actually playing like a main part of the main narrative of the game. So there's a lot of features coming out with them.
Space battles though versus
Yeah, I played the Battlefleet Gothic tabletop, and the company that's been making it's been pretty faithful to the actual tabletop in a really surprising way. So I see good things. Yeah. But also, there's a Kickstarter I heard about the other day that's kind of like World of Tanks, but it's based off the mechanized warfare of 40K.
Yeah.
So like all the Imperial Guard tank variants, all the Space Marine variants, all the Grav tanks for the Eldar, Tau. It's supposed to be all of them kicking ass.
There is what is that one?
I didn't even know
Eternal Crusade. Eternal Crusade really captures that kind of essence of.
Eternal Crusade is a massive failure.
Well, it was done wrong.
I'm sorry. I was there when they first started up on Kickstarter and all that shit. I remember every promise they made. I remember all the alpha builds they uploaded videos of. I watched them all. They delivered like not even an iota of what they said they were even attempting to do.
I mean, did you play the later version of it though?
Yeah, and they're getting close to where they told us they were in alpha, but it's still like they pulled a No Man's Sky basically. They promised the goddamn moon. Yeah. The thing is about the 40K fan base, we're even less unforgiving than the in general sandbox fan base.
Oh yeah, by quite a bit too.
Like also, they got fucked up when they humped the pooch.
I mean, No Man's Sky has redeemed itself since then, though, like dramatically.
I won't go back.
I'm a kiddie. I'm a kiddie. I'm not trusting that studio.
Oh, I went back. DC went back, and it's like a night and day difference in terms of game. It's not even. It's actually now close, almost as close as you could get to what he promised originally.
I know, but see, that's the problem with me because I don't want to like encourage that precedent that they've set. Promise the moon, give you a shitty game, and then give you the game we promised you a year later.
Yeah. Like,
it's that, like, day one DLC type bullshit I hate.
Well, I mean, it was all free. At least all the updates beyond that were all free. So that was good.
I know, but, but you still had to, like, put through, like, a year and not, like, rage quit it or refund it when you weren't promised. So there's, like, a bunch of people that just, spent $50, got shit, and just refunded it.
Yeah.
A few people were like, we'll hang on. They're trying, and it's just like...
I did the same thing. I actually had full-on quit it until I saw the updates, or I played when Next came out, because I was like, you know what, I'll do it when they bring co-op, because co-op is the only thing that'll make me want to play it. And then co-op really kind of redeemed it.
Co-op was supposedly in it at the start until people proved it wasn't, which was one of my favorite scams.
I like it was literally within like the first I want to say 6 hours that the game was launched. They found each other pretty much right away, and these guys are like, we're literally in the same spot. Yeah, and we're like, we're already here.
You're never. Really, go ahead, Kitty. Go ahead.
Okay. No matter how good No Man's Sky is now, it will never be as good as the worst possible Burnout game, though. So it's a failure. They should just bring back Burnout. No, that studio, the people from there, made the original Burnouts. So every time No Man's Sky gets an update, another Burnout game is released. And
it's just something about game companies that use late night TV shows as their like advertising. It rubs me the wrong way. Like, I remember, like, you guys remember when Sean Murray was sitting there on like the Colbert Show?
Yeah.
No. He was sitting there with his whole walk through the game. Oh my god, it was fucking horrible. It was one of those that's why I will never go back to No Man's Sky, because I was like, dude, you promised me fucking Arrakis with sandworms. I'm a Dune and a 40K guy, man. You pissed me right off.
Yeah. So, going on.
Dune did make a good game way back in the day, though. I'll just throw that out.
Oh yeah, man. I'm fucking with CNC and Warcraft 3 coming back. I'm hoping they do a Dune remastered. Fucking, I'm down.
I'm excited for the what is it called? The Warcraft remastered. I'm super stoked for that.
Yeah, Reforged, I believe it's what it's called. Reforged.
Yeah, as long as they have the custom games back up with the same kind of broad availability, I'm down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm down for the CNC remake because Command and Conquer was my shit too.
Oh yeah.
And if they're legit about we're not remaking it, we're just updating it, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to retire from adulthood completely and go back to my young teen years.
Well, so on a normal thing, we kind of start the show with. So what have you guys been playing the most this week?
I got back in the Conan and Exiles, just because I wanted to check out the new pet mechanics. Because now you can build a new through your wood shopping little station, you can now build a taming station. So now you can actually go out and capture those tigers and hyenas that keep fucking with you, and actually make them like guard dogs and stuff.
Oh shit, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, you can like make like elephant mounts and stuff once you get like the Tech 2, basically tamer station. So I'm working my way up to that right now.
Oh, that's awesome. That is definitely awesome. What about you, Kitty? What have you been playing?
Blackout on Black Ops 4 and Slay the Spire still. I haven't moved at all in a week.
I bought Slay the Spire when it was on sale, and I still haven't gotten to touch it yet. Dude, I'm just like...
I actually have 400 hours in that game. I leave it open a lot, but I have so much time. Whenever I watch something, I'm playing it on the other screen.
Nice.
It is the best... Probably, I'd still call it the best game that came out this year.
That's awesome.
And yeah, you got like 3 times as many hours as I do in fucking Conan. That's like a grindy ass Minecrafty game.
Yeah, I don't even know how much I got in Conan actually.
End game, man.
Oh, not much. 60 hours.
I got 13 minutes on my friend's computer, and I'm like, well, I saw Wiener, so it's a pretty good game.
That's like everybody's like first like hour in the game is like, oh, let's see the dong slider.
See, I have a special respect for people willing to go out with the minimum length dong slider, because you're like, they know how to play the game. They're not out there just trying to swing dick.
Kitty, have you gone the mod workshop on Steam for Conan? They got enhancements.
I hate that type of game. It's not my style.
Oh, like the survival rust style.
Yeah, it's like the Ark Conan survival, but it just takes so much time. I don't like games that really put time in it over some kind of skill base. That's really my issue with it.
Yeah, the only thing where that one excels is like the PvP. Really, that's where like PvP gets kind of fun because of stupid silly shit basically.
Yeah.
I've been like messing around a lot with like on that topic, Fallout 76. Like we were actually gracefully given a key for it along with a Yeti Fallout 76 streamer bundle that we're actually going to be giving away. So if you guys haven't checked that out on our social media, definitely check that out. We just started that actually just earlier today. It's going to be running until around this time next week. So you guys got a week to get into that. But Fallout 76, it's interesting. It's different because it's more of a survival game now than an RPG. I mean, it's got huge, massive RP elements in it though. Like, and they're really giving that to you. So like instead of having to mod other stuff into like, you know, like GTA has its RP role stuff. This one, they're actually just giving it to you right off the bat. Like you go and visit these different places, you're going to get that outfit, you're going to get these roles, you're going to get this mask or that thing. Like I even got like a chick's bikini, like a 40s style bikini with a mom visor and sandals. Like,
weren't those illegal back then?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that in the Let's Plays, where they can just grab everything. You go in the museums, you can grab like the black powder rifles on display and shit.
And you can use them.
And yeah, I've seen like, and I've also seen some of the Mothman stuff, like the Flatwoods Monster stuff. Like I like how they took the cryptids and just fucking went ape shit, and just made a lot of lore around them.
Yeah.
You know, added a lot of richness. And, you know, I love how they added the Scorched to West Virginia. I noticed that too. And I was like, okay, that explains why it's depopulated as shit.
Well,
because I was really concerned on how they were going to make that work with no human NPCs.
So the human NPCs part, so I guess what they failed to kind of do, and they do it in the beginning of the game, but they didn't tell everybody beforehand, is that the reason there's no NPCs yet, so in all the other previous Fallout games, you're in one of the vaults, the later vaults that opens. And this one, you're this one, you're the first vault that opens. So there is no humans yet. So you're literally like the first bunch of people ever to explore, and that's why they make you and the other players who are coming out of Vault 76 the first players that are out. That's why there's no human NPCs around.
And everybody's still scrounging. Yeah, so I assume like everybody's like hiding out deep in the woods or scrounging around the city still in very, very small groups. That's why you don't see them. And we're out in the middle of the Appalachians, so everybody, all those rural communities must have been cut off and died off from super mutants and all kinds of bullshit.
Yeah. So basically, like all the people that were left that did survive the drops or the bombs and everything, they all basically died off to natural causes or beasts or something or another. And you're basically coming out and discovering that everybody's fucking toast because they came out and died to something.
Yeah. But it was actually the apocalypse.
Yeah, it was actually the apocalypse. So like when you go and like you're running through these things and you're finding these stories and you're going across and experience, like I just did the fire breathers thing, which is like the fire department essentially for this area. And you go through their whole training and you find out the whole team died to scorchers. And you're just like, "Oh, okay. Cool. So that's how everybody's dead now." And you're just finding all their remains and stuff and everything else. So it's different in that fact.
Tell me about these Chinese little robots I've been seeing on people's stream, like these Liberator bots. What's up with those?
I don't know. I don't know what the story is behind those yet. I haven't found the storyline that explains those, because you see the Protectors and you see the Liberators, and those kind of robots work together, but they hate everything. Like they hate the Scorchers, they hate the ghouls, they hate you, they hate everything else that's not machine, basically. And so anything comes across.
It's very obvious. I've seen like the markings and stuff from the Let's Plays and stuff that they're Chinese.
Yeah, they're they got a little Chinese star on their forehead.
Yeah, exactly. There's never been a reference I've seen in Fallout lore in the years since it was originally with Obsidian about China having any kind of major robot technology.
Yeah, and they're different.
Some of that stuff showed up in some of the earlier games, but it wasn't huge, basically.
And it's still like it's very like the only reference to them right now is literally just the little bots that you see occasionally scattered somewhere, and that's it. And there's not many of them either. Like every time you run across them, there's only like 5 or something like that.
I don't think the little robots. I know what you guys are talking about because I've seen some stuff from Fallout 7. They never showed up, but there's definitely a bunch of crazy tech that showed up in other games, and
they look like
China had these kinds of technologies going for them in even 1 and 2.
Kitty, they looked like the cookie bots from Despicable Me.
Yeah, haven't seen that.
Yeah, that's basically what they look like.
They're basically like little cans with 4 or 5 legs on them. I think 5 legs on them, and then they like jump up and they have like a little blade that comes out of the midsection and they shoot lasers out of their little laser eye, and it's kind of it's basically what they are.
Yeah, like some hardwire, fucking old school horror, cyberpunk shit.
Mm-hmm.
You said they're called Liberation bots?
Liberators. Liberators.
I wonder if Bethesda knows the Liberator is like a sex toy. Like,
no idea.
Anyone else knows that.
Like, it's literally a fucking cushion.
Yeah, here I'll put it. I'll put it in the chat. Here's like the
I'm looking
wiki
at pictures now.
Yeah, that wiki of what they call.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. If you type in the Liberator,
and it says Google, it's People's Liberation Army.
You might.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because they're obviously calling back to lore. I think it was in Fallout 3. The DLC was Liberation of somewhere in Alaska.
Anchorage?
And that was all about fighting the Chinese and their superior tech, and you got the OP stealth suit from there. So
yeah,
all the same thing.
There's quite a bit in that, and then
yeah, that's what I thought. I thought like the Chinese focused on stealth technology, cloaking, invisible subs, and all kinds of that.
I don't know. I don't think you get invisible subs without making a few robots along the way.
True. Yeah. I mean, well, without at least trying first, So I guess kind of while we're on the Fallout 76 topic. So there was actually some players that apparently have helped out new players by acting like the NPCs. They like basically just show up and they're like, "Hey, let's help you and like help you do your mission or help you figure out where you got to go next," and stuff like that, which is kind of cool.
I was watching some streamers playing 76, and they thought that there was NPCs in the game. There was some good clips of people being like, "Oh, I guess we were wrong this whole time. I do have NPCs." And then the guy finally like said something, called him stupid when he like couldn't get around something.
Yeah, there's robotic NPCs. I've seen those.
Yeah, there's robots.
Because you actually get like, because I've seen like the little amusement park walk through,
and
like the hot dog eating contest, like the fuck.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, and there's
when they're raiding hot dogs.
Yeah, there's just no like humanoid ones aside of basically there's robots. There's actually Scorch that talk. I found one last night that did that, and it was only because he was trying to kill me. And he starts hearing him talk and do all the other stuff. But of course, they're all trying to kill you.
Scorch mad.
And then it's just a lot of the stories of stuff.
Is there any ghouls in the game yet, or have they not like evolved yet?
The ghouls are actually what carry the nuke codes. So there's special ghouls that run around with the nuke codes. That's how I found one last night. I kept hearing this annoying beep, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" So I went and I was like tracking it down because it's something I hadn't heard yet. And I kill it, and I go to it, and it's got one of the 3 nuke codes I need.
So are none of them intelligent though? Then
no.
Or do okay.
No. They're just
so no heralds, no.
They have some stuff like that. They have a couple little
no Hancocks.
No, a couple of them wield. They wield weapons too, but not to the same. Like the Scorched are really kind of like the advanced ones. Like they carry all kinds of weapons. They're kind of like militarized to some degree.
Well, I can understand that they didn't want put in for voice actors new NPCs, and I guess if you added like a ghoul companion option, that would put a little bit of work on them. But I hope in future they add that, like you can actually have companions, like NPC companions.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, even the dogs, like if they brought the dogs back or something, that'd be cool.
Yeah, dogs would make more sense than I think companions in this type of game. It'd be weird having a full NPC companion in like a MMO-ish game.
Yeah,
I don't know. Either way, they made this.
Well, it works out pretty well in Neverwinter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Fallout's always been a little more dependent on their environment than I think Neverwinter is.
Yeah.
Fallout's very precise in how they do things and how they feel.
Precise isn't something I would say with Bethesda.
Oh.
Unless we're talking about like bugs.
If you don't think those bugs are now just part of the brand, that is.
It's basically part of the brand. I don't know. Like people talk about the bugs as if it's a bad thing because they
are pushing that brand like a motherfucker. They took like notes from Trump for that. Like they put it in gold on the top of the fucking game. Just all gold lettering, Bethesda.
But did you guys see the nuke launched into the fissure that's in the top right of the map, and it unleashed the Scorch Beast Queen that's level 95. You can't even get to that level yet, by the way. But they unleashed a level 95 boss, the Scorch Beast Queen, and when they launched the nuke into the fissure.
That's something that's probably kind of a bug where they're like, we just won't put any lore on how to get this thing out yet, and we won't let anyone know, but like it'll still be there, and then later DLC will let people know.
Apparently, it was intended.
Like, so is it just like run?
Yeah, it's like just because you're waking it up because it crawled into the fissure to hide, and then you're nuking the top of its home basically, and it's waking it up and pissing it off.
Yeah,
is it like just walking around now, just fucking everybody up?
Only in that instance of the map. So like everybody, it goes into like I think a 30-man instance of people because there's only about 25, 30 people in each map. But when these guys did it, they were all in power armor and everything, and they were just getting like obliterated by this thing. Like there's a video in that link that I just put in the chat about the Scorch Beast. I would actually play it here on the show, but it's like a 20-minute clip, and you kind of want to just skim through the parts that are kind of cool.
Yeah. Were they able to take it down then or not?
No.
Okay.
They didn't even get it halfway down. Like they were just struggling, and they were all like max level with power armor, like fully leveled power armor and everything.
Because
what
I had seen.
What is the Scorch Queen? Because I'm
it's like a giant bat, basically.
Fire bat.
Yeah, it's basically like a big fire bat.
Okay, so Scorch has now been kind of like turned into 2 different things. You got Scorch that are like humanoid, then you got Scorch that are like fucking giant bats.
Well, no.
Scorched is more an adjective.
Yeah, it's just an adjective. And this one, it's just a fire breathing. It's like a giant fire breathing bat, mutated fire breathing bat.
Okay.
But
I was just making sure. I was just like, what? Like,
yeah, and then she didn't come alone either. So she came up with like a level 50 creature too. So that was.
I won't lie. I was thinking like some like fat like super mutant chick, like all red skinned, like raging across the map. I'm just thinking like the traditional Scorched.
What a level 95 encounter that would be.
Yeah, and apparently it did reward them too. They got ultrasight plans and extra loot, and ultrasight stuff apparently is really rare. So it actually got worth it, but it's found only in fissure sites.
You're the first people to get fucking shithoused by this NPC.
Congratulations, here's your reward.
That's something to be proud of. First people to get like just taken down by a raid boss.
They should get like the Leroy Jenkins achievement or some shit. That's basically what they did.
Launching first in there to launch a nuke, and it was funny because like, so if you find the nuke codes, you could actually like just go into like pair up with other people that have found other nuke codes, and then just put them all together and launch the nuke. So it's actually a little bit easier than people thought because of the instancing. So like if you have it in your inventory, you have it. So you just have to go and meet people with these 2 other pieces. Like I could go and meet somebody else with the 2 other pieces, and we could go launch a nuke.
So if I like teamed up with some people on this new like co-stream and stuff that's coming out in a few weeks, we just like run off in all 3 different directions and just get all 3 codes in like an hour or 2.
You can't. It's random where they show up. That's the hard part. It's like it's just a random NPC that just happens to be roaming, and they don't say in one specific spot or area. They've literally found them all across the map. So far, even mine was in a random corner of the map that I just happened to be in at the time.
You said they beep?
Yeah, they beep. So they're a ghoul that has like an officer's uniform that's all fucked up, and they have a backpack that looks like a communications backpack, and it beeps. Like they're
fucking
loud
atomic batteries, man. That's what I'm talking about.
It's loud and obnoxious. Like, and it was like, so I'm on top of this crane that's in the map. Like, if you guys look at the main map, I don't know. I mean, actually, I think I could show it to you. Since I have that T-51 Power Armor edition.
Yeah, let's say he has like this fucking printout.
So,
you had the fucking little triangle thing to like map it out, give us right degrees.
No, dude, they give you straight up army men to plan out your map. This is part of the bundle.
Shit,
like it's got like it's got the dudes in it. It's got ghouls in it. It's even got vault dwellers in it, which are the blue ones. They've got the robots you can see on the bottom. Like
that. Mine's not as good anymore. I want that one.
So on
you need to set up a second camera, put that on like a table, and use the army guys for like when you're live streaming. You can just like have like a second camera.
I'm on this spot. So that crane, if you guys see that big black spot with the crane in the middle, so that's a giant, like a massive size crane. So I'm on like the 3rd floor of this thing. This thing comes out on the bottom floor, and he's on the ground like running around, and I could hear that thing all the way from the top. And I'm just like, that's how loud, like, insanely loud it is. And for you guys who are watching out there, I did get the T-56 Power Armor Edition, or T-51B Power Armor Edition, so you can see that.
But will you put it on?
I mean, I could. It's even got like a neck shroud and everything. Look at this thing. Like I was surprised, and it surprisingly fits on my head. Like I wear like a 2X in most helmets, and this thing actually fits.
You coming to Comic-Con with me? That's the real question now.
Which one, San Diego Comic-Con?
Okay, I am. Well, I know there's a tattoo parlor I want to go visit out in LA, so I might come out.
I already have my full cosplay ready to go for cool Fallout related stuff. Just a Pip-Boy and a shitty gun.
Dick, wear it.
Gun.
I could wear it.
You got to bring some ripped clothes.
No, I have a Nerf gun taped to a blade sword, whatever it's called, from Final Fantasy VIII. That's all you need. If
I had some headphones, if I had regular headphones, I would wear it. Wait, you should get your phone and put it in there, unless it's like an oversized phone.
My phone's too big nowadays.
Oh, I know.
Also, it was super hard to play the game with that in there because switching weapons and not being able to pause.
It was a cool idea.
I liked it. Don't get me wrong, and I like taking phone calls on the Pip-Boy.
Can't just pull out the cool helmet and not wear it. I can't hear anybody. I can't hear these guys if I put it on. Though. That's the only downside. I mean, I can put it on for a second if you guys want to hear it, or see it.
Honestly, my wrist is sweaty. I want to take this off now.
I can tell in 76 they took a lot of inspiration from the gun mechanics they used in Fallout 4, which I do see that Dizzle Day it's working out pretty well.
It's the same engine from what I understand.
Yeah, it looks it. From the screenshots I've seen,
just a little bit prettier.
A little bit tweaked. Not as I don't know. As a member of the Commonwealth, I can say they didn't represent us a little too well in the color palette area.
Well, it's after Apocalypse, so can't be quite the same colors.
I don't know, but still, they made it look like the Midwest would probably look after a nuclear apocalypse.
I mean, DC was only gray when Fallout 3 came out.
Yeah, let me see.
I know.
Only one color.
We got like a little bit of green when we got up to Boston.
So let's see if I could put this on real quick.
I think Vegas got the best treatment, but then again, that was done by Obsidian themselves. So
that's right. That's it.
There we go. I don't know how often do you guys hear me?
streams.
Pretty good, actually. You're a little muffled. Yeah, put on the voice modulator.
Wait, there we go. I gotta make sure the light's on. Lights on, and somebody is actually home. But the only downside is now I can't read the show notes or anything. It's just like, I'll just fuck it up, wing it. I mean, this thing literally is like, this is all you can see out.
That's pretty solid. Like,
although it's nice though. It's like it's got its own little cradle inside too, so I can actually move it around a little bit, and it's not like scratching the shit out of my head or anything.
Not bad at all. That thing is sick.
Wait, what did he say?
I said it's sick.
No. What did Tahik say?
Haha, nice. Just need some body armor now.
Just need some body armor now.
Yeah, grab some.
Body
armor. Get at it.
If there's just that one fucking crazy ass raider, it just needs the helmet.
Right.
He's high on jet. Let him do his thing.
Back in my day, you needed special training to wear that armor, and I don't know why all of a sudden this armor is so easy to wear.
Back in my day, to get jet, you had to go straight to the Brahmin's ass.
Oh, man. But yeah, I'd like to get a whole like cosplay setup for that thing. It'd be cool.
They got good deals on Etsy, man.
I'll bet. I would not doubt it at all.
Dude, cardboard raider. That's how you do it.
So, getting to some of our actual topics for tonight.
Yeah, not just talking about how good Fallout 76 is.
Command & Conquer is getting remastered, which is kind of cool. I'm excited for these.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's all of them, too, wasn't it? Like, all the old ones?
No, so far, it's just the original.
Oh, it's just the original?
Well,
and Red Alert.
They said it was Red Alert, so...
Yeah, Command & Conquer and Red Alert.
I know Red Alert's on the list, but it's not going to be coming out with the CNC original remaster. It's going to come out soon afterward.
Yeah, I imagine they'd have their own teams that would probably work on those separately.
Yeah, and they brought back some dudes from Westwood to work on it, so that's the really great thing. They brought back some of the original devs that worked on it originally to redo it. So, to me, that was a really great sign that the game's not going to be shit.
Yeah. No, you definitely. I was really excited about that, too, because the last one I played was Tiberium Wars, and I really liked Tiberium Wars. It was actually fun for a CNC game.
Yeah, I like the progression. I like the units they had, because I have it, too. You know, Kane, I don't know what the fuck that storyline is doing, but, I just keep paying those actors, because they're fucking great. It's the campiest shit ever, and I love it.
Yeah,
it should really be like, we should get like some straight to DVD B movies at this point. Just all that shit. I love it.
Do you think they're gonna reboot the FMV in the game? Just a new Tanya and stuff like that, or?
Oh, I don't know.
I hope they just like clean up like the original cutscenes. Just make them better. Because they got all that crazy
technology.
Yeah, because look at all the fucking look at Rogue One. Look at fucking Tarkin and Princess Leia. They can fucking do that shit.
I don't think Command & Conquer has Star Wars money, though.
They're owned by EA now. They got Star Wars money.
No one has Star Wars money but Star Wars.
Yeah, and the Star Wars IP, or IPs, those are, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, technically, I think EA, even though they fucked up...
Battlefront 2?
Yeah, they fucked up Battlefront 2, but I still think they have access to Star Wars money.
Oh yeah. They're still licensed for like another 6 years for it.
Yeah. Not for Command & Conquer though.
No. Yeah, it's not. Yeah. I mean that's Disney and Lucas dumping the money into the Star Wars games.
Looking quickly at the Command & Conquer Wikia, do you know what the first thing on Tanya's protection is, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
Just sports bra. That's part of her armor.
Oh my god.
Fuck yeah, man. It's the Tiberium sports bra, man.
Oh, jeez.
Ridiculous. I just like looking at the little thumbnail they have too. I can't even figure out where the picture of the person is. It's ridiculous.
I like the domestic violence propaganda commercial. Like, what was that? Like, Command & Conquer 2 or 3?
Yeah.
It was like boyfriend and girlfriend smacking the shit out of each other, and they realized they both hate the GDI, so they should work together.
Okay.
Oh, dude, it was fucking some soap opera Zod propaganda shit. It was hilarious. So I'm saying we deserve a Command and Conquer straight to DVD like B movie. They should make it right now, because I'm pretty sure all the actors that have fucking taken part of those are still alive. So let's do it.
So kind of on the note of like remakes and other stuff coming back out, Sunset Overdrive came out today on PC after it's been rumored for like the last 2 weeks, and all of a sudden they're like, "Hey guys, by the way, you guys were right. It's coming out today." Wait, everybody's like, "Wait, what? Today?"
Yeah.
Out of all weeks to do it?
Which, I mean,
yeah, it's not Half-Life 3, man. Calm down, shit.
I know. I mean, it's nothing exciting, nothing crazy, but it was just
one of
no. I'm saying them. Like they're being like, yeah, we're just dropping it today. Like it's gonna be hot fire.
Yeah,
and I think it was though.
It was. Yeah, a lot of people wanted it on PC. They didn't want to play it on Xbox. That's for sure. Like, I mean, they people who wanted it played it on Xbox, and I've heard great things about it. I've never gotten to play it myself, even though I own it.
On Steam, it's like a 9 out of 10. On Metacritic, it's like an 81.
Oh wow,
Google
like that high, huh?
It's like 95. Yeah, no, people love that game, and it's. I mean, it's like Jet Set Radio style, where like there's just a strong following of people who really, really like it.
What's the name of it again?
Sunset Overdrive. And it got really like raving reviews. It just wasn't like, I mean, at least the time it came out on Xbox, it wasn't as crazy as it thought it was. But it's also Insomniac too, so.
Yeah, it was released on only Xbox One, I think, which is why I never played it originally. I watched a few people play it, but I wouldn't buy an Xbox One, so I never got to it.
Yeah, so like I have it because it was free. It was free for Xbox Game or Gold members for a while, so I got it when it was there. And my brother played it some, actually. He played it on stream on my channel, or our channel. But aside of that, I never touched it. I mean, I barely play console as it is. Like, I have, like, an Xbox and a PlayStation and a Wii. I mean, not a Wii, a Switch sitting right here. But I barely... I mean, I play the Switch more than the other two because I could take it traveling with me, but...
Mario Party was bad, so I haven't touched the Switch in this year.
Was the new Mario Party bad?
Yeah.
Aw. I have it. I haven't touched it yet.
They didn't put online multiplayer in, except for mini games, which is the worst choice they've ever made, ever, and I hate them. Mario Party is supposed to be the best series of all time.
That's unfortunate.
So this is basically kind of like Team Fortress, like, but open world,
and a little bit more over the top.
That's a wild sentence.
It's a little bit more over the top.
Open world Team Fortress. It's Jet Set Radio shooter with energy drinks. I think.
Okay, I'm looking at some of the shit right now on Steam and stuff. That's why.
The plot is basically that show iZombie, which is a lot better than people ever get credit for, but with bright colors and no zombies and Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's
okay. So it's trying to be the kill all humans as zombies.
No, there's no zombies in it. I was just referencing a show.
Then,
well, it looks like there's zombies or something. Something's infected.
Yeah, that's just people drinking too much energy drinks.
Yeah, most of it is like it's basically like Jet Set Radio on drugs, to some degree.
Oh, okay.
It's just an energy drink. It's not drugs. Come on, man.
Hey,
it
might as well be drugs.
They won't be allowed in Australia if you say it's drugs.
Right.
You can't even be even if you say it's fake drugs.
Can you use jet in Australia in Fallout 76?
Oh, I don't know.
That'd
be really interesting to find out, though.
No, that's what they need. We need a Fallout Australia,
right?
Because
everything's already trying to kill you there. It just makes it worse.
No, but think about it. Who the fuck was nuking Australia? Australia's probably just fine. Australia's probably like fucking Atlantis in the Fallout universe. They're like, what
Let's
the fuck
go to the promised land.
Else? Yeah, I know. Sydney's just perfectly fine. They're doing all right. They're just chilling. They're like, I don't know. A bunch of planes went that way. A bunch of bombs went that way. And trade just drew up, man.
Yeah.
Dried up.
They're like, let's go to the promised land. Like, kind of like Waterworld. They're trying to go to the dry land. It's the same thing in there, but they're trying to go to Australia because it's the only place intact.
Fun fact. I guess there was like an Easter egg. I had to go back and watch it in Waterworld, but it's actually it's Mount Everest that dry land is.
Is it like really?
Yeah. If you actually, there's like I guess there was like a reference to one of the fucking climbing teams that made it to one of the summits that was in the movie when they were like running around.
That's dope.
So it was like, yeah, it's actually Mount Everest. That's where the only dry land was left, the tallest fucking peak on the planet.
Wow.
Even though there's nowhere near that much water in the ice caps.
So, planning through some other stuff we got too is Telltale Games is finally going down, which is unfortunate.
And pulling all their games.
But there is a new Walking Dead game coming out that looks good.
That's Overkill's Walking Dead was garbage.
It is. Yeah. It is. Oh,
it's basically Payday with Walking Dead skin, basically.
Oh.
I did really like Payday for a long time.
I like Payday, but I didn't like what they did with this, and I don't want to pay $60 for it. If it was like $30, I would have considered it. But the fact it's $60, I'm like, nah, I'll wait till it's on sale.
Okay, so Overkill's just the rebound.
Yeah,
that's what we're dealing with. Okay.
So no real good.
Not Telltale.
Yeah, and it's also not Telltale, so that'll stay there. But it was kind of sad
that Telltale has to pull all their games from Steam and stuff instead of keeping the license for their games and maybe being able to pay off some of their debts or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they weren't able to sell their licenses.
Well, they probably will.
I'm kind of surprised also, to be honest.
Because there are plenty of indie studios that would definitely take over some of their games.
I mean,
yeah, but
hint, wink, wink. Microsoft is buying all these indie devs up. Why the hell couldn't they buy them?
Because they were bad.
But I mean, look at the money. They could have bought them at wholesale price at this point and been fine, and still retained all the employees to finish the other game up.
The subsidiaries could still end up picking up the licenses.
Yeah.
I mean, the licenses are fine. Pick those up. I just think the Telltale style of game, they did not make any new mechanics with it after their first game or two. The Wolf Among Us was good. After that, it was just the same thing that's kind of boring.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, especially with, like, I got gifted the Batman one, the full season of the first Batman one. And that was really fun, but it was hard to play because you couldn't do much. Like, you were literally watching it 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan of their art style.
Yeah, the cell graphics, they're a little iffy. One of my favorite gaming moments of all time, though, was I never once in the original Telltale Walking Dead game made a choice or talked. I just stayed silent for the entire game as my roommate watched me, and he hated it. And then I'm like, yep, that game is not my style, because you can just stand there and refuse to comment.
Yeah.
Everything still happens.
On other big news, Warframe Fortuna just dropped their big new update this week also, on top of everything else that's come out this week, including Battlefield 5, Warframe Fortuna comes out. Then you got Fallout 76. Like, there's all this stuff that's coming out in just 1 week. Fortuna actually hit its all-time high in player peak at just under 132,000 concurrent players, which was amazing. Like, it's the biggest release for them so far by quite a bit.
And also, EVE just launched their new Onslaught expansion, and they just announced their first double skill point weekend that's going on this weekend. They're giving free double skill points for the first time ever in the game's history,
which is awesome. So yeah, definitely get in there, get your implants in, and take up all those double skill points right now.
Yeah, surprisingly eventful week, definitely.
Oh yeah, and it's great. It's just the weekend before everybody's about to have some time off to be able to sit down and play some games. I mean, I know I'm excited. I'm gonna have a couple days off, so I mean, I'm definitely gonna be able to chill with that. Some of the other big news this week is Sony is skipping E3 this year, which I thought was really fucking weird after they just had like an extremely strong year in terms of sales and everything.
And I think their strong year is why they didn't do it. Because they're going to take a hit on bad press right now for a little bit, but then when they don't fuck up E3, no one's going to care. No one's going to be like, oh man, it's worse to not be there than it is to
I think part of it is because they're doing PSX.
Come out with something to bring out too. Gives them an extra year to come out with something for E3 that actually one up themselves. I think that I agree with Kay. I think they're buying their time. Like, we don't show up, we'll get a little flack for that, but we'll be able to work on what we do best And that way, next year we'll have 2 years instead of the 1 year. Everybody else gets to get their shit together.
I disagree with even all of that. I think they're doing it all for PSX. They're saving everything for PSX and going to transfer that to permanently.
I mean, I guess Nintendo Direct has been pretty popular and people have been liking that. So that could be a strong move. It might be the way to do it. Unless
this is like, part of the big game companies starting to ixnay E3 because they don't like the stress of the time of the year that it's in and everything, because everybody hates that time. Apparently everybody in the game industry hates that time of the year because it's all E3.
They made a lot of mistakes in E3. Do you remember the whole debacle of when they decided it was only press and there was no fans, and then they kind of reneged on that, and
that was because
of the state of E3, and
that was because of Spoony shit with XCOM 2. You had a few. There was a few player commentators that made asses of themselves at E3.
Oh, I mean, that could have been part of it, but I don't think that was the main reason for it.
That wasn't why they didn't let attendees come, though.
Yeah, that wasn't. Yeah, they're trying to make it this exclusive event for media and press and all this stuff, which really, I mean, I guess that's one way of trying to get all the press companies to come in. But then when they started not coming in as much and nobody cared, then they're like, okay, we got to finally let press in, or attendees in, and then also streamers. Like, they're doing a big thing for streamers now. So you apply for like Media Pass, you get in as a Media Pass. Same thing with PAX. All the PAXs now, you can do the same thing.
I think, and also a lot of the other gaming companies now have their own thing outside of E3 where they make their own announcements. So
that's where I'm curious to where it's going to head. Like,
it's kind of outmoded. It's kind of like an old format that's just like hanging on.
Yeah, like
you got BlizzCon, you got eVegas, you got eFanFest, you got BlizzCon. Blizzard even has multiple conventions for their different gaming IPs.
Yeah,
a whole bunch of other places. Activision, EA, they all hold their own special like events over the course of the year where they make their own announcements. Like, hey, we're doing this shit.
Well, it makes me wonder if everybody's just kind of making their move to do their own thing when they can do it on their own time versus E3 time. And if that keeps like the trend going, then you're going to see all these other companies eventually going to do it, or they're going to piggyback and make smaller shows outside of E3, essentially trying to kill it.
I think also with just, if you saw, what was it, Bethesda did on Twitch, their stream of just a TV thing that got, 200,000 people watching it? It was something crazy like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Last year, PlayStation hired the world's most talented flautist to present the Ghosts of Tsushima. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Oh, Ghosts of Tsushima.
Tsushima. They put so much effort into this. When then they see, hey, a company can just show a TV and thousands and thousands of people go watch it. Why don't we just fucking do that? Yeah. Save ourselves, how many tens of thousands of dollars?
Yep.
Then the fact that I think everyone can basically say Devolver were the ones who won E3 because they really hit a chord with humor and new games and showing off and made it quick and fun. And then they're like, well, if we're going to be outclassed by indie developers, why try to fight it?
Yeah, I like Devolver's thing last year was just like a whole at the end of it you're just like, what the fuck what did I just watch? And then this year was a continuation saying yeah, we know we did something that was what the fuck. Here's some more what the fuck on top of it.
Dude, it is very good. As someone who plays a bunch of those kind of little indie games, I got more from that than almost every other presentation, honestly.
Tiny Build was also really good, I thought, in terms of the smaller developers.
And also they're playing kind of late trying to get streamers in there in force because TwitchCon has already taken off in recent years. A lot of the indie studios and a lot of the game companies are just going straight to the streaming websites conventions.
You'd be surprised though, like TwitchCon this year, in terms of developers and indie games was nothing there. There was literally 4 developers. That's it. In terms of indie developers, there was 3 main big developers, and that was it. The convention hall this year for TwitchCon was extremely small. It was literally probably a third of the size of last year. And I've been saying the third a lot. Maybe it was their first time, but for me, seeing San Francisco, San Diego, Long Beach, and now this, San Jose was by far the smallest, in terms of the convention center size, what they could hold, what they can do. Now the merch store was bigger, but the lines didn't get any better. The lines were the worst thing that was there. So
that sucks.
But they had a potential to do it. Like PAX definitely rules that market in terms of like having streamers there, having the indie developers do their stuff there. Like the indie developers mega booth that they had at PAX West literally was like 70 developers deep with all their games shown off. It was amazing.
Yeah, I'm within an hour of where PAX East goes down every year, so.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'll be out at PAX East this year, so I might actually see you out there.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, we might have to link up. I might take you to a few local spots.
Yeah, Zetas, I definitely agree. San Diego still, to me, this day was the best in terms of location. Like, I don't understand why they don't come back to San Diego because, like, they literally used like a 15th of the convention center. Like, they literally used like one letter hall, and then they have all.
A price point?
I don't even think it's the price point because San Jose cost more than San Diego did. And on top of that, San Diego, there's enough hotels in San Diego downtown alone to house San Diego Comic-Con, and it could easily do TwitchCon. But there's like, 200 places to eat, bars everywhere, like everything. There's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's a weird idea to not just take the smaller convention and go to a place where there's an established way to do it with a team that knows how to do it. Yeah. I think San Diego would be the place to go every time.
Wait, what do you mean? San Diego's not going through renovations. I live in San Diego. It's not going through renovations. It's been tried to go through in terms of legislation, but they haven't done the renovations yet. It's still being fought about. Yeah, the convention center hasn't been done. Hasn't been touched. Like that's Marriott, the Marriott next door was under renovation, but not the convention center itself. That's like still it's still being worked on or talked about. It's not even started yet.
Maybe that could be part of the reason.
I mean, they want it to be a kind of like a certain. They want it. They were working on the roof and shit according to their website. That sounds like a bald-faced lie. I have no idea what they were doing then.
I don't know.
That's news to me because they still have San Diego Comic-Con there every year.
The risk of bad press if they mess something up might have made them push it somewhere else.
Well,
but hasn't it been 3 years since they've been in San Diego?
This is it was 2 years ago.
Okay.
So it was
also
Long Beach, and then San Jose, and then before that was San Diego.
Okay.
Real quick, shout out, rest in peace, Stanley. We lost him this week as well.
Yeah, so, that hit me kind of hard. I mean, we
all... 95 years of fucking awesomeness.
Yeah. I was in the middle of reading the Death of Spider-Man comics again, and I was like, man, this is a bad day to read these.
Right?
Yeah. It's like the worst fucking time to read those.
Yeah, with the old Uncle Ben famous picture of him putting his arm around Spider-Man.
Zeta's actually talking about that. I think that could be part of it too, because I met the guy who does the scouting and runs the events for Twitch when I was at PAX West, and I ran into him again at TwitchCon, and I asked him how everything was working out because I was giving him a lot of shit at PAX West about how bad Long Beach was in terms of a convention center because there was no signal. Like you couldn't get anything there. The hotels in the area sucked. It was just a bad location in general. Like there was nothing good about that location.
Aside of Long Beach though supposed to be like a destination for tourists though?
No, it's a ship dock basically, a giant ship dock.
So it's like the valley?
Yeah, but worse. It's ghetto as hell over there. Yeah, Long Beach was just
Long Island of
like Long Beach was like just garbage. Like San Francisco was better than that. I mean, San Diego still hands down is the best. San Jose was cool in terms of the location because it had a lot of stuff around it, but in terms of like the actual convention itself, it was trash.
I wonder, like, would it kill them to just not do it in California? Have a place center of the country? So
they can do it. I mean, I think they want to stay to the West Coast. They want it to be like another West Coast thing, which I don't understand either because there's a lot of places they could go to. Hell, I would love it in Boston or Denver or Texas or even one of the Carolinas. There's a bunch of good places out there.
Dude, honestly, when I went to Gen Con in Indianapolis, that place is so well set up for that many people coming in for conventions and such. 50,000 people wasn't bad.
And Boston holds, like you were just saying, Boston's a great city too to hold them because we have major cons. Fucking like every 2 months there's a major con for some fandom going on. Even the major Eurasia conventions that are like almost a week fucking long happened in Boston.
Yeah, I think I think their next. I have a pretty good feeling their next 2 spots. Like like the same guy I was talking to didn't want to confirm anything, but it sounds like they're scouting out Anaheim and LA for the next one, which makes sense because they're one of the 3 biggest. Like between San Diego, LA, and Anaheim are the 3 largest convention centers on the West Coast. So
honestly,
they could do a lot there.
Vegas
or Vegas. I would do Vegas.
And Vegas
fuck, they can do it in Phoenix. Come on.
Yeah, they can do it in Phoenix. Phoenix in October though would be garbage. Like, I don't know. But going back on topics, there's like a lot of Twitch drama this week too, like oddball Twitch drama too, which is kind of weird. It's kind of come out of the woodworks all of a sudden in the last 2 days. Twitch is dropping game and add-on purchases support for broadcasters here shortly. It's only like a week and a half away, or 10 days away from now, that they're going to be dropping this feature to focus on more on extensions, which kind of makes sense to a degree, although they've also kind of revealed to the general public that extensions now charge you bits. So if people didn't know that, now some bits. It's a percentage, so it's based on whatever the developer asked for. The max is 20%.
I meant some extensions, not.
Oh yeah, no, all of them. Yeah. Every single extension, everything now takes a bit chunk of your bits.
Ooh, I thought that it was kind of a their choice thing.
Yeah, it's their choice. Everything is enabled for it. I don't know what charges what, and they don't tell you unless you look in your like monetization thing. But I've disabled most of my extensions because of that. I'm like, I don't make much bits to begin with. Not that I'm greedy or anything, but I'm like, I didn't opt to pay these guys for this. I mean, I get it. I want them to get paid for their work just like anybody else. But at the same time, I'm like, give you a chance to know that first.
Yeah, well, when I read the article, they did mention that they were going to be moving their games and stuff for purchasing over to Amazon. The Amazon was now going to be facilitating that action. Anybody who had games or anything already on their Twitch accounts, they're going to be automatically backed up.
So that makes sense in the terms of like trying to push all sales to Amazon, which is kind of what they were trying to do to begin with. But at the same time, the support for broadcasters only comes if you sign up for their like affiliate program. So that's the only kind of support you get from that going forward, which kind of sucks because now they took away the discount for it. You don't get the ad-free, viewing experience you do. All right, cool. Now that, that little tiny bit of money that you sometimes got from random people that would come in and buy, a game or some add-on currency for like Warframe or something, for example, aren't going to have that option as much as they did before. I don't think anybody really used it though, because I can't count on time more than maybe a couple times I ever did it.
Well, also, I do know from some of my own viewers on my stream that they do receive bits for watching ads, and they usually end up throwing those to me too. So there is kind of a balance that's going on. Like, it's costing bits, but they're also throwing bits at people. Mm-hmm. Which, when you're not paying for bits, they usually, let's be honest, it kind of works on a person's subconscious there, and they're more liberal with their bits.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, I just got these for watching a 15-second Toyota ad. Here's 50 bits, guy.
Yeah, I mean, even the amount of like ads you could watch now for that stuff though is so minimal compared to what it used to be. Like now, I think I've only been able to watch ads for bits maybe 3 times in the past month.
I get all my bits from surveys that Twitch sends me, which I'll do. Like, I'll do it on my phone, watch a 5-minute video, and they're like, "Hey, how many times do you remember this guy talking about Tostitos?" I'm like, the whole 5 minutes. What the fuck are you talking about? This thing was all about pizza bites.
Where you been?
And then they're like, all right, thanks, 500 bits. I'm like, oh, well, tight.
I got bits like randomly from the BitNado thing that was at TwitchCon. You literally went in there and tried to capture like paper versions of bits, and somebody got it right where they just held their arms out like in like a cradle fashion, kind of like this. And we saw one guy, he got the whole thing. Sure enough, I tried the same exact thing. I got the max you could get, and then he told the gal a joke, and that gave you the card, and she gave you another 500-bit card. So you could make 1,500 bits from just doing that. So it's like, oh yeah.
I just realized on my bucket list now is being in that wind tunnel full of money just for the fun of it. That seems like a good old time.
Right.
See, YouTube needs to fucking learn, dude. If they paid me to watch ads on YouTube, I wouldn't have ad blocker.
Right.
I'd just be like, fuck it, give me $5 per fucking ad.
Or even even if it was pennies on the dollar. Even if it was pennies on the dollar. I mean, look at what Mixer is doing.
25 cents an ad. I'll do that.
Look at what Mixer's doing with the Sparks thing. You earn Sparks by just watching, and then you get bonuses for being like a pro member, which is the equivalent of Turbo, I guess, to some degree. But even then, like, you could give those to streamers for free, and you earn a ton more.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting thing.
Fuck Bitcoin, we got bits, baby.
Yeah, right.
We'll see a lot of progression on Twitch soon, trying to take the Mixer ideal and tweaking it a bit at a time.
Yeah, I mean they're constantly like they're in a straight up battle with each other now to some degree,
which is good because with Twitch kind of having a monopoly for the last few years, they've been able to do whatever they want. Mm-hmm. As Mixer comes in strong, they're gonna have to really promote to the watchers and the streamers to do better and be a better platform. So it's good for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Let's not forget, Amazon's now the head honcho, and they're competitive as fuck. They're always trying to fuck with everybody's shit. Mm-hmm. So Twitch and Amazon, they're gonna be like gunning hard, like Tombstone.
Oh, and they got the money to do it. That's for sure. Going on to the kind of like our top story with kind of like the Twitch drama that's happened this last couple days is actually really kind of. I've seen this trend going on for probably a good 2 months now, 3 months maybe, and it started with this gal named Ashley Christ. She started offering streaming advice for people. She failed once, I guess, in her whole thing. What's the threatened its market share for streaming? Oh yeah, well yeah, and there wasn't really a big competitor at the time either. There was actually no competition except for Hitbox or Hit whatever that one was. So going on this thing is like this coaching. So like this gal offers live stream coaching or Twitch coaching essentially. And a lot of big streamers, like one of them, like the big one I think that really kind of sparked it was Lyric. Lyric is like, if you need a coach for live streaming, I don't think live streaming is for you. You can't also teach luck. And I'm like, to some degree that resonates. To other degree, it's like everybody that is on Twitch has learned from something. Like whether it's watching another streamer, where it's asking for advice from somebody, asking a community, all these kind of different things. And it's kind of sparked this debate like, okay, why is coaching a thing? But I'm like, it's at the same time, you've got this whole new wave of streamers in the last few years that are just like coming in droves now, mostly because of the affiliate program, which is like their biggest draw. But you have this massive amount of streamers that have no idea what to do. And etiquette is definitely not there. And I think a lot of the things, at least for what I think of it, is it's cool for giving a streamer a baseline. It teaches them some basic etiquette and gives them an idea of what they can do going forward. Now, you can't teach them personality. You can't teach them, how to talk to the chat. You can tell them how to do it and what to do, but it's all up to them ultimately doing that later. And also gives them just the ideas and the tools to start with, like, don't do too much on your overlays. Like all the stuff, the culmination of things that other experienced streamers have learned over the years.
Yeah.
But like, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Like, I'm kind of curious to hear everybody's thoughts on this one.
Well, I don't have an issue with streamers giving advice for people starting out. Usually, I prefer it when they just make their videos on their YouTube channels. Mm-hmm. When you try to do like a live stream, try to do a tutorial about streaming, I can see how that can cause some drama because, that's almost directly live calling out some of your compadres.
Yeah.
Let's say your style is completely antithetical to somebody else who's successful, and now you're live streaming that they're doing their shit all wrong, essentially. So I can see how it caused drama, and there already has been better outlets to give that kind of advice.
Yeah, and you think of like the things that even Twitch is offering now. They're doing the Twitch Creator Camp, which is basically the same thing. It's free coaching, in fact. Because they're like, here's a bunch of cool tools you could do to go and make your stream better. But she's also charging like $60 an hour, $65 an hour for this stuff. And in a
that's
session,
only for one-on-one. Yeah. I'm gonna look at what you're doing, and I'm gonna be doing this. And I saw some people getting angry at her calling herself a coach instead of a like consultation or whatever. Which whatever, it's the same thing.
Yeah, and then we also have Skillshare.
But the general idea in my mind is seeing a lot of young people come to Twitch is them not understanding really kind of certain factors of what they're doing. some people will come and play and just maybe they're really good at a game, and that's fine. But imagine if someone who's eventually going to be in the NBA just had to go out and play basketball in front of people every day and just talk to the people in the crowd. That's a wild idea, and it's something that actually happens in Twitches. You could have someone who, once they turn, I don't know how long or how old you have to be for like Overwatch League, once they turn 18, might be making a bunch of money and streaming all the time and able to do this stuff, and they're going to come into it with no knowledge at all unless someone's there to kind of give them some kind of advice. And a lot of people have, good enough head on their shoulders to be ready for that type of stuff. But very few people can deal with the pressure of, I have 20,000 people watching me and calling me dumb because I messed something up. I'm about to lash out at everyone watching me.
So. Yeah, which, I mean, we've seen many meltdowns here and there from other people too, but yeah.
And also it does seem a little optimistic because there was a recent incident, I think within the past year. It was one of the main vloggers on YouTube. He made like a Team 100, Team 1000 kind of thing where he was going to coach, kids to be YouTube stars.
That's another thing too. That was.
I believe it was Jake Paul.
Oh God! Anything with the Paul brothers, I just like almost automatically tune out of anymore.
Yeah, but he scammed like a shit ton of people, like to the point like some vloggers actually went on like try it out for videos, and their credit card companies hit them up as soon as they put their credit cards in for like fucking erroneous charges and scams and shit.
Wow.
But he was basically telling everybody like, $10, I'll give you all the secrets, and he turned it into like some crazy George Lopez on crack. Sorry, not Mario Lopez on crack kind of infomercial bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too, because she could be pulling that, giving a bunch of empty bullshit advice to kids.
See, that's where my issue comes in with it, because she has some advice. I read through some of the stuff she had, such as don't stream too much so that there's scarcity in the market. And I'm like,
there's like that one there's some of them that I'll agree with. Like some of them are actually pretty good in terms of like it's the same stuff I would tell people like that I've learned over the years. But there's like that one, for example, kind of was like crucial. That's the opposite of what you generally do to make it big. So I'm just like
so maybe she could be right for herself, but other people that might not work out for her. And my issue is she doesn't have proof one way or another with the correct data. If you want to coach someone, have some numbers to really back you up. She has her personal story, but
But it doesn't say that she's going and coach somebody and now they're big, Twitch or YouTube or Mixer or whatever stars of their platform. And she doesn't have that's the only thing that I was even going to get to too, is she doesn't really have a background to say like I'm worth this money. Like what makes her worth this money to some degree.
I mean,
yeah, does she even have like endorsements really? Like is she sponsored by anybody? Because
not that I know. Well, at least not till recently, anyway. And Corrupted,
thank you so much. Does she have a promo code?
Hold on, guys.
Does she even have a promo code?
Corrupted, thank you so much for the raid of 13 people. Welcome everybody coming over there from that stream.
Welcome.
Yeah. Like I was saying though, so I mean, how much she'll get paid? That's up to the market to decide. I'll stick with that go-to, but. She has a few endorsements, but there's no way to really prove to anyone that that the advice you're giving is what's putting it into it. Are the people she coaching just doing better because they're actually thinking about it for once? That it could be false positives. And without any kind of proof, I don't know if it's worth the money. Read whatever advice and decide if it's good for you, but I wouldn't go around paying people until,
Well, and that's the thing too. It kind of goes on that whole thing. Like you can get it's kind of giving the player or these streamers or these new streamers like the level guide basically. But I don't know if a lot of that is worth the amount of money she's charging either. Like I was looking at her like her Patreon. I think her one-on-one coaching was if you do the Patreon part of it, or if you got in one of those 65 slots or whatever it was, she was literally charging I think $60 or $80 or something for that slot once a month.
Which. I mean, I don't think that's a ridiculous price.
But it's not. Really it's also something you could just do on your own within a few hours and find that same thing.
For her, it's a ridiculous price. But if it was like somebody who was actually huge, like
exactly,
like fucking he was like fucking PewDiePie, fucking being like, give me $60 a month and I'll teach you how to be fucking I'll teach you how to do meme review.
But
maybe that might be worth it.
Why is he good at coaching people?
I know, but I'm just saying I'm saying she.
You would take something from success.
Yeah, because he's actually successful. I'm not saying that we're not talking about coaching skills in general. I'm just talking about she doesn't have the credit to back herself up.
Yeah,
she can have all the coaching skills in the world, but she could just be full of bullshit. Some great bullshit artists have great coaching skills.
I think plenty of people who are successful do not know how to teach those skills.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. I agree.
Absolutely,
I agree with that.
Seeing that most of her success comes from all these streams where she's teaching people how to do stuff. Maybe she has a background, and I don't think we know enough about it other than people saying definitely not.
She's even said her background is from the fact she's failed once and then read and listened to a bunch of stuff and came back and now wants to teach people. But that doesn't really give you credit either.
I mean, that's learning. She learned stuff, and maybe she's able to take what she learned and teach people well. That's not something that's a bad thing necessarily.
No. But at the same time, but going on and basically being trying to be the one person that's doing it. Yeah, there's a market for it because nobody does it. Sure, which is you go straight to a person to get that information, which is helpful instead of trying to sift around for it normally most streamers would do. They don't want to spend the money, or they don't have the money because that's why they're here in the first place. Some of them want to come and make money.
And plenty of streamers give advice for free, like I said. Exactly. Channels. But Meg Kelly, she's a huge YouTuber. She's on GameSpot TV and shit nowadays. I remember she was just this little kid from Sinfully Riddles down in New Jersey.
Oh yeah, Meg Kelly.
She started giving.
But is their advice worth anything? I mean, do they know what made them popular, or were they in the right place at the right time? That's back to Lyric's luck idea.
Yeah, you can't teach luck. It's just that shit happens.
Meg knows what she's doing. I've actually
Meg actually released
she gives actually really solid advice. She helped me come back from my little hiatus, and I got new shit that I'm working with. She's helped quite a few other streamers get big.
She did a really big thing about burnout and what it took, why it got her to that point. But a lot of it was actually the lessons learned all up until that point that got her big to begin with. That she had to back off from to some degree because it burned her out, because she got addicted to the drive or the grind to it, essentially. And that was actually, I think that's really where she kind of launched herself from just being a streamer to going into being a hosting personality, is because she brought that etiquette back to players and people and was helping people a lot more to some degree for a while. I don't know if you guys got to read that blog post, but it was actually a fantastic read. I mean, it was long, 8 or 9 long paragraphs.
I used to watch her back when she was still getting her communications degree, before she actually dedicated full time to what she's doing now. So I remember seeing a lot of that stuff happen in real time. Because you can see in her eyes, she got super addicted. She got into doing mini games, dressing up for it. You could tell she was on a bit of a manic high at one point when she's still in her Simply Riddles days.
Yeah, actually, here's I found it, actually.
She calmed down, she strategized, and actually planned out what she was going to do. She was actually very smart about it when she came down.
Yeah,
now she's doing all kinds of crazy shit.
I'm not going to read it now, but I will definitely get to it later.
Yeah, and that was a really kind of a cool insight of what made her. She basically did these things and got big from it, and then burned herself out in the process. And I get it. I've hit the burnout myself. I've been doing this now on and off for 3 years, or for the most part of 3 years. This year is the first year where I really hit that burnout to some degree. When I read that, it was actually around the time I started to burn out pretty heavily. And then I kept going and going, and then eventually I got to the point where I was I became disinterested in everything because of it. And I was just okay, I'm hitting a lot of these big things that, had happened, and it was really helpful, but at the same time, it was something that came for free. She just wrote it because she wanted to help people and understand that, okay, if you start saying these signs or parts of these signs along the way, now you know what to look for. If you're going to burn out, or if you're on the verge of burning out. But it's stuff like that I think teaches more than trying to go and pay somebody for forced help.
I think, though, the whole pay, if your kind of way of getting at people is through helping them and doing all stuff, having this barrier of pay could be something just to help her not get constant questions and people attempting to get one-on-one help all the time. And it's, if you want to give me the money for this consultation fee, I will do it.
Well, yeah, that's definitely what it is.
Doing. It stops, your chat from blowing up of, hey, check out my channel. What's wrong with it? And why don't
I'm not saying that she should alternatively just like start giving away the service for free. I'm just saying offering a coaching service like this, and like I said, like nobody, like she hasn't really done anything. Like, I don't think she has the experience to start coming out the bat.
I mean, if people are gonna pay her to do it.
Yeah, granted, she didn't start out with it being paid. I actually saw her right around the time she started doing it, and it was actually kind of the same stuff that I was already doing with other people, like in INN, for example. Like I help some of our streamers do that same exact thing. But yeah, she started offering it as like a mainline service and doing YouTube videos, and it wasn't really until she started getting into the YouTube videos is where she finally picked up traction with that, and people started asking her for more help, and then she started charging it for it probably about a month later, realizing that there was a market for it to begin with.
Yeah, there's this common theme of in a Discord that I inhabit, people will come in and ask for advice on how to start an esports bar. And I ran bars for years and years, so normally when someone links them to me, I'll tell them, for an hour, pay me $100. I'll look over your business plan. I'll tell you what I think about it and where you're falling flat. And the normal response is, we're not going to pay you $100 to look at our business plan. And I say, okay, you're not ready to open a bar. If you don't have $100 to spare, you're gonna go under. And it's stuff like that where it's like, I have the knowledge to do the consultation on that. I can tell you, don't do it 99% of the time, but it's stuff like that where maybe other people might feel I'm not worth $100 for a consultation fee. But I mean, that's what I will charge if you're gonna ask me these questions.
I think that's where these big streamers are coming from too.
I think it's completely fair. I'm just saying, don't be don't be like. I think the drama with her is specifically because she's advertising it on Twitch. Like, if she's doing this like on her own social media or on her YouTube channel, anywhere else, I mean, it's just kind of like she's like broadcasting to everybody on Twitch and all the very impressionable kids on Twitch.
I mean, Twitch is social media. That's
it does.
It's no different from the other stuff, really.
It does, but it's kind of like one of those kind of like taboos. Like, hey, you want to get great on stream? Hey, come watch my stream live, and I'll show you all my links. It's almost kind of like she's drawing viewers to her because like, oh, if we watch her for a while and then eventually get our shit up, we could become great streamers too.
I mean, I think having a stream that represents something of value like knowledge and attracting people that way is perfectly fair. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Oh no! I have nothing wrong with that in general at all. I'm not saying that. Like I do history. I do history, theology, and mythology on my streams all the time with people. Like I have no problem with like educational streams.
I mean, educational streams are actually pretty good. Like even like I mean, we haven't seen it recently.
I'm not like being like, give me $50 and I'll tutor you for your college freaking thesis. On my stream.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if you want to pay me, I will edit your college thesis. I do that. So, I mean, it really depends.
I mean, like, so like, even this, it was the same thing that we even did, like with INN in general. Like, Skeptic Nerd Guy, who is our other streaming director. He actually used to do a bunch of like how-tos just on stream, just because like, hey, this is how you do this if you're playing with XSplit, or this is how you do this with playing with OBS, before like a lot of these other tools started really coming out. Same thing with like Streamlabs OBS and some of these other ones that have come out since then. We just did tutorial videos just for the heck of it, but it wasn't a desire for it as big then because affiliates didn't exist at that point too. So I think a lot of that stuff definitely drives because of the way the trend is coming to the business itself, and now it's creating new opportunities that people didn't know that existed yet.
I still think it's a lot of blue sky at the same time, and people are kind of getting disillusioned from that.
Yeah.
Because, like, it may be easier to become big at streamer, but it's still a very minute number.
Yeah.
That's going to be actually successful and good at doing this. Same thing with YouTube. Like, it may be easier to get, like, a couple more percentages in there, but the vast majority, especially, if you just increase the pool, it's just going to be a lot more people just wasting time, really.
No.
It's something that, was more of a passion than something they could be, viably doing as kind of like a passion and a work. kind of deal.
And a lot of the stuff that's come out from this thing too is a lot of people coming from both sides, you know, like basically saying it's kind of the same things we are tonight. Like, how do we know it's worth it? Why would you do this when you could get it for free elsewhere? There's some of them that are just saying it's a straight up scam. There's even people making super big memes about it, which one of them I thought was the funniest one I saw from Sequisha this morning. He did it in his Italian voice, and it was just totally like mocking the idea as a whole. Because he just thinks that, you know, you should learn these things on your own and figure it out what works for you, not a script, basically. And like a lot of these, like, I understand the things from all sides, and there's no real right answer for it either to some degree, because ultimately you got to find out what works for you and your brand and stuff like that. Yeah, you could, like I said, you could learn the baselines for some things or etiquettes to some things, and that's from there on, it's pretty much you.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing in my mind as really any skill or job is. You can learn a lot from someone telling you how to do it, but in general, you really need to do it to feel comfortable.
Oh yeah,
hands-on experience is gonna really do much more. I had like a de facto mentor for years and years, working and running bars and stuff, but I don't do anything like that guy. Me and him were polar opposites, and everything he taught me, I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna do it that way, but I understand what the logic is, and you take that and you kind of spin it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the same way as being a mechanic, because on aircraft, you know, we got plenty of guys, you know, fucking haven't touched the aircraft since the 70s, but they still know a lot of shit. They still do a lot of shit we can't. So, you know, I understand what he's saying, because that guy's probably a lot more old school way of doing things. Stuff won't really mesh the way it's done now. And you just take what you can from that and you just reiterate the way it works for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's all you can do, too, in some of these things. And I think that's kind of like what I would tell streamers. If they were asked, like, would coaching be worth it in my eyes? I would tell them no. You can maybe watch a few other tutorial videos and get the general gist of what it is, but you got to find what works for you, ultimately.
Yeah, because gaming communities vary on what they like.
Yeah.
You know, like, look at, like, Dr. Disrespect. Look back at Matt Kelly. Look, they are all very, very different type of people that do very certain types of gameplay. So, you know, if I don't know what this girl primarily plays, but let's say you're a big, like, you know, DayZ kind of player guy, you know, maybe that's not the right advice for your channel, because that's not going to attract the crowd that you're actually aiming towards.
Yeah.
And you might just be shooting at nothing, because the crowd that's attracted to that isn't watching people play DayZ.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
go ahead.
I would say at the same time, there is things that are always gonna be right or wrong in anything. Stuff.
Yeah, very general things. Yes.
I mean, not even for Twitch. It's not even that in general. It's, you can watch a stream and be like, well, you know, you never talk to chat. You never talk at all. Your quality's bad. Simple things like that. People have a bad ability of watching themselves do something and understanding what was wrong with it. Yeah. Having someone that you can respect and talk to, it works a little better.
Rex, what's going on? What do you mean you don't talk to chat? We talk to chat. No, and
hey, chat.
I think he's referring to what I said.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what?
I saw a bunch of chat go by after I said that. I'm like, oh god.
Oh no, I was doing the shout outs because True came and hosted us, and thank you, True, for that. If you guys haven't checked out True Bag, another streamer here on Fabby TV.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff along those lines where, you know, maybe there is things that someone could tell you. Does that mean you need a coach? Probably not. It's, in my mind, the story I've heard of new parents who go and buy all the baby books and stuff. If they're the people who are there getting ready and trying to learn everything, they're probably gonna be pretty decent parents because they're trying really hard, even if they don't read every book. Yeah. It's really about the mindset more than anything. And if you're going out there trying to learn all these things, probably you might not need a coach, because you're actually going to go out and try to learn these things instead of just
and that's part of the fun of Twitch, at least for me. Like my biggest excitement is experimentation, trying something different. Like a lot of that, it's so much fun to me. But I mean, I'm one of the very few people that is like kind of a glutton for punishment when it comes to some of this stuff. But I mean, I have the most fun personally when I can go out and just try something different. Like, for example, I haven't been using a green screen in a while, and in my entire streaming career, for the most part, I have always used one. and like doing stuff like this. Like it was something different for me. Like you asked me 6 months ago if I was ever gonna go and tear my green screen down and put lights behind me, I would have told you you're fucking crazy. And here I am. Because the landscape changes too. Like Twitch landscape literally changes on almost a daily basis. Yeah, there's a hot big thing that's out for a little bit, but it eventually calms down. Like we're finally seeing Fortnite finally calm down a bit. And not just because it's been out there forever. It's just like, okay, it's a thing that's already been out for about a year and a half now. Let's see what other big thing is going to come. Like just like we see like, you know, CS:GO and Dota and League of Legends and Overwatch and all these ones kind of come and go as like the big, you know, big hot thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's also one of the issues with the coaching this type of thing is it's not a set precedent. You can't go back with years and years of history. And that's really been my issue is just, do they have the numbers to back up what they're saying? Do they know it's actually going to work?
Yeah.
So.
No, and that's the thing, yeah. And there really isn't for a lot of that stuff. Like even some of the stuff she's talking about, some of it makes sense to some degree if you look at other things. But a good like I want to say a good majority of it though is like purely on like wishful thinking, I think.
And yeah, parts of it is like gut feeling. I know. The thing is, I can't trust my own gut feeling. I am fairly new to Twitch. I don't know if this thing's gonna work, so I can't say they're wrong. But I'm like, you know, let me see your proof.
Yeah.
Because I don't think decreasing streams is what makes me want to watch people.
Damn right.
No, you make for me, I've always seen the biggest thing that works, at least on that one specific topic. I'm not going to probably touch on a lot of these other ones, but the biggest streamers who've done it, aside of the ones that are full time, have like a 5-day or 5 stream a week setup. Even the times where I had like my most viewership for myself personally, my biggest viewing point in time was that in fact I was streaming 5 days a week at the exact same time. And people knew exactly when to come on. I was like their regular scheduled, you know, TV program in the evening at one point. And that was where I got, you know, a good chunk of that. And that's where I've seen a lot of other streamers, even not the full-time ones, do it really well. I don't know if like necessarily the 3 day a week. It's definitely the 3 a week is definitely very nice in terms of time, because if you don't have a lot of time like me, for example, I work full-time. I run the INN stream team on the background. And then also on top of that, I stream myself. So a lot of the time, I barely have like a day or two free to myself a week if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
But it's a different thing for everybody. Like a lot of the younger generation generally is not working, or they're in school and they only have three classes a week or something like that, for example. Like I know it's all different for every single person that's out there too. So
I don't think broad advice that worked for her is something that you should send everyone. It's self-help books.
Broad generalization. Broad generalization is a bad thing.
It's just like I would never read a self-help book because they're dumb, all of them, every single one, and I don't need no help. But
I never understood them.
I don't really want that stuff coming to Twitch, but I don't think that's what coaching is, and it's gonna be a while until anyone finds like a good solid ground on that.
But I think that's because it's always a shifting landscape. There's never going to be a solid ground for that either.
Yeah, I don't know. Having coaches that are like experienced, or like I would say even companies that are like, hey, like we will produce your streams, might be something that come around later.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people will be seeing that later. I at one point I wrote an article for a group that kind of said that they were going to be able to do that, and they didn't know what they were talking about. But I wrote an article for them, talked on one of their Twitch things, and they had a hope that they would be the baseline and be able to tell people what's right with streaming and esports and where you should go.
I'm kind of curious who that was, because this sounds really familiar.
I think I talked to you about it before. I'll shoot you a message on who it is, but I don't want to.
It sounds vaguely familiar to me too.
Here.
Yeah.
But yeah. Rather not. Just
no worries.
Anyone? Yeah.
But yeah, I think that kind of wraps up like with a lot of the stuff we've been talking about tonight, because there's just a lot of different stuff. I mean, there's a lot of different opinions, a lot of different ways to do it, and that's the one thing I want to I'd rather tell people too the most is just find what works for you and take everything, even if you do anything in terms of stream coaching, like take it with a grain of salt, and then figure out what works best for you and your style and your brand, and your time and everything. Really, I mean, a lot of it is just research too. Like I research all the time, even though I'm not streaming all the time either.
Yeah. And if that doesn't work, put on a fake mustache and a mullet wig and just go at it.
Apparently, that's worked for people.
Yeah, it has.
As long as you're what?
There literally are famous streamers that just do that.
Yep.
And also, Skillshare is a great resource nowadays, guys. Get 30 days free. You can check out all the classes you want. Some of those voice acting classes, some of those communication classes really do actually kind of help when it comes to streaming and broadcasting.
Yeah. And then of course, just watching streams and seeing the stuff from yourself too is always a big thing too.
Yeah, exactly. Go watch streamers you don't even like. Go see why they're popular. Go see what they do, how they interact.
Go see why people aren't popular too.
Yeah,
exactly. Go see where they fuck up.
In fact, that was actually something I did with a bunch of streamers last year. I actually went
Twitch fails. Watch Twitch fails.
Well, no, not Twitch fails. That's terrible. No. But no, I literally went. So I said, "Hey,
give me $60 for that advice right now."
Go to. I told a bunch of streamers last year. I was like, "Hey, if you guys want a cool thing to try out, here's a questionnaire. Go visit 5 streamers over this size, and under this size in terms of viewership, and go to this many under this size and this terms of viewership, and tell me what you get different." And then we share it with everybody, and you see what everybody finds. Nobody found the same streamers, which was kind of a cool thing. I was actually really happy about that. And I didn't want them going to the very top streamers. I wanted them to actually search a directory and find something. The amount of stuff that you saw from everybody was like wildly different. Like what they liked and disliked about certain streamers. And it was crazy different. Like nobody had not even the same phrasing of things that they liked and didn't like about different streamers, which was really unique to see. And I expected like somebody to find, maybe even stumble across the same streamers in a certain game. Nothing. And that was, and it's the same thing as a regular viewer too. Each viewer can view everything differently from another person.
Yeah, Twitch got like a really true like free open market. There's just everything, and everybody can I know people that watch multiple streams at once.
In fact, I have like 4 open right now that are muted.
Exactly. So, you got people that divide their attention, have their whole, battle station just fucking full of Twitch windows.
That's what I do. You got 5 windows up all the time.
Yep.
I got a triple... Oh, trust me, I know. I got a triple monitor display myself, so I go fucking crazy with my windows.
But, yeah, no. But, yeah. And the point of the whole thing is, just to find what works for you guys. I mean, that's the big thing I could say about this coaching thing. It's cool that it's out there. It's kind of crazy how it's taken off to some degree, especially for this one person. But at the same time, take it all with just a tiny grain of salt and do the thing that works for that. Your
self-deprecation though does work. It helps with any kind of trolls. They can't fuck with you if you're already fucking with yourself.
Yep, and then you are your biggest critic. You are hands down your biggest critic. Like I have a hard time watching my own VODs, even though people are like, "No, it was fucking fantastic." I'm like, the hell are you talking about? I didn't see that. But yeah.
You've seen this goofy motherfucker wearing sunglasses at night, and I'm like, who the fuck is this loser?
But I think about wraps it up for us tonight for this week's episode of the Insider Gaming News Talk Show. I think it was good. Any closing thoughts for you guys?
Nah. Just get coached.
You know what? I got one. If you have played Conan Exiles and you quit it, give it another shot. The taming shit is actually pretty cool.
I've heard a lot of good things about
it. Yeah, they've gotten some new DLC, and the devs have finally gotten their heads out of their ass with the bugs. So if you have Conan Exiles, you haven't touched it in a few months because of the bugs, give it another shot. They added some cool shit. It's actually really playable now.
Any of you guys playing anything after?
I don't know.
Or are you guys out from that?
I'm
gonna go stream and play some Blackout, and I finally started winning again. If anyone down,
I can only do that game for just so long before I start raging.
I don't have it yet, so.
Black Friday is coming up. It's gonna be $45.
I know, Cyber Monday too. I know, but it's the holiday season. I got nephews and nieces, so I'm like prioritizing the budget right now. Gotta make sure I get them all their shit.
For sure.
Alrighty, guys and girls. Oh, sorry. But alrighty, guys.
Like then Uncle Hendo will start fucking hitting up his Steam wish list and a whole bunch of shit.
I know. I got a bunch of stuff I'm saving just for the sale that's coming at the end of the week for Steam. But yeah, I think that wraps it up for us on this week's episode, guys and gals. Thank you all so much for joining us. I definitely appreciate it. And I believe we should be back next week. On the odd chance it gets too busy for people with the holidays, with Thanksgiving just being the day before, we may postpone it, but we'll see how the week goes, and we'll let you guys know on social media.
I'll monologue for an hour. It's cool. We'll do it.
Yeah, and thank you for the kind words, chat. You guys are awesome. Thanks for the raids.
Oh yeah, definitely thank you for the hosts and the raids, guys and gals. Definitely appreciate it. Corrupted, thank you. Tree Bag, thank you. And thanks to our regulars that come out and hang out with us at our new time of the week. And we'll see you guys all next week. Hope you have a good one.
All right.
See you next time.
Deuces. No, I usually take the weekends off.